Maria Davis, a goal-setting coach that has been helping students and teachers achieve their goals for years, and I'm here to help you do the same. I believe life isn't about chasing after what you want. It's about accessing the unique power that's already inside of you so you can step into the life of your wildest dreams. If you're looking to do life differently, live a life that's designed just for you, make your dreams a reality, and ditch the hustle, then you're in the right place. My goal for this podcast is to give you tools, resources, and tips to discover who you are at your most authentic level, help you get back in the driver's seat of your life, and send you love and encouragement along the way. Welcome to It's the Audacity for Me. Hello and welcome back to It's the Audacity for Me. I am your host, Maria Davis, and this week we are talking all about happiness and 5 secrets to be happier. So in case you haven't heard already on the podcast and on YouTube and all kinds of places, I released a free training. It's called Who Are You? And it has a free workbook that goes along with it. So it's a 5-part video series with a workbook journal or a workbook with journal prompts that you can fill out. So if you would like to grab that, the link is in the show notes. Again, it's called Who Are You? And it is a step-by-step guide to creating the blueprint for your dream life and stepping into the most authentic version of you. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check it out. All the videos and everything are uploaded. So go ahead and grab your copy of the workbook on my website. Again, the link will be in the show notes and you can grab that. So I am also looking at doing some other trainings and things coming up. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my YouTube. I will link it in the show notes. I am trying to get all of the podcast episodes uploaded onto YouTube, and then I will also be doing other videos and things, but just keep an ear out. Make sure that you subscribe and follow on social media so that way you don't miss any of those fun updates. All right, so what are we doing this week? This week we're looking at the 5 secrets to happiness, or the 5 things that, make people happy. In this episode, I'll be talking all about doing the work that it takes to live a happy life, and I'll be spilling the secrets that happy people know that make them so happy. Let's get going. So many people start evaluating their unhappiness and start looking at the symptoms and don't really pay attention to what the source is. So what I mean by this is think about whatever example you want: broke, single, unorganized, overweight, whatever those things are that someone could be unhappy about. Are you unhappy because you're unorganized, or are you unhappy because you're overweight, or are you those things because you're unhappy? Just the other day, I was walking into the corner store by my house, and it was after I dropped my kids off for school and walked in. Usual morning crowd was outside drinking their coffee, and I just passed by, said good morning as usual. One gentleman stopped me, though, and he said, you always come up here and you make my day. You're always so happy, and it really just makes me think life isn't all that bad. And this is a question that I am constantly being asked, why I'm so happy or what it is that makes me happy. And to be honest, I have no good, very bad days, just like everyone else. But it's really all in how you see them. You can look at them and feel like it's the end of the world and not see all the other things outside of whatever crappy circumstance you're going through. So just keep in mind that life isn't all about just one thing or one relationship or one goal or, one financial situation. Life has so many different components that one thing going wrong, or even a whole bunch of things going wrong, can't ruin my day, because I know that there's so much more to life than just those individual small scale circumstances. You have to look more big picture and see your life more big picture, but then also live in the present moment. And I think most of life is that. It's a bunch of balance between two opposites. It's really all in how you see it, though. It has taken a lot to get to where I am now. I did not always used to be this happy. But just like the man at the gas station said, life really isn't all that bad. And hey, I woke up today, so that means that I have another day to smile. And if you woke up today, that means that both of us still have a purpose. If you are waking up, you're breathing, you're living, you still have a purpose. And you'll hear me say this a lot, and I said it before, I'll say it again, life really is all about balance. I'm happy because I'm me. I'm happy about all the crappy things that I've had to experience that brought me to where I am today. I'm happy about all of the things that I have to be grateful for. And I'm happy that I get to be here right now, talking to you, just being alive. And all of those things are just part of life, but it's all in how you see it. Another example of this is I like to work out. And when the pandemic happened, gyms shut down. The gym that I went to, closed down um, because of the pandemic. So when this happened, I was really bummed out because that's my way to get extra energy out. That's how I stay so level-headed is I like to work out. And so when they were finally reopening things and we could go back to working out and going to the gym, I was so excited. I'm like, yes, I get to work out today. Like, I get to come here. And it's so easy to take things for granted. And I think that during the pandemic, a lot of us saw that and experienced that. Maybe you have a similar experience with the gym or something else where it really opened my eyes. And now, days that I don't feel like working out, I remember, hey, this is a privilege. I get to come here. It's not, I have to go work out. I get to go work out. The gym's open. We're still in a pandemic, but nothing like we were a year ago as far as, everything going on. And I think that it's just a nice way to look at it. And it's really, it brings you happiness, right? So that's what this episode's all about, being happy and how you see things. So there's some mistakes, though, that people are making when it comes to their happiness. They're not identifying the areas of life that maybe are repressed or, aren't working to incorporate those into your life, or not identifying areas where trauma and past experiences are hindering you today. So if you're making this mistake, you're maybe not aware of what it is that is causing the unhappiness. It might be things that you have just pushed away and forgotten about. And I know for me, one thing that was really important to recognize was my people pleasing and why I was doing it and how that was harmful to me and how it wasn't serving anyone. It wasn't serving the people that I felt that I was pleasing or trying to please. And just seeing how that all played out, it wasn't something that I was consciously aware of and aware of the impact. And when I can see that, when I can see where the boundaries should have been, it's a lot easier to be happier because I found that place and I've repaired it, if that makes sense. Another mistake that people are making is not living authentically, not being yourself, not knowing your purpose or having any driving force behind you, not measuring your success, or maybe you're measuring it in the wrong way, and not being consciously aware of everyday influences on your life. So what can you do? How can we fix these mistakes? Well, first things first, and this goes back to the point that I was making a few minutes ago about areas that maybe you're not aware of, making friends with your shadow. And when I say this, I don't mean, turn around and say hi to your shadow on the floor. I mean, really feel through your emotions and see your shadow almost as another part of you, like the part of you that you protect, because it is really. Your shadow is all your secrets and all the things that only you know and just who you are on the inside. And when you can make friends with that person, you drop the judgment and you drop the fear and you drop just that yucky feeling that you can sometimes have and not really understand where it's coming from. So making friends with your shadow means understanding the repressed parts of you that still need healing. And it means working through your past trauma in a safe place. And that might be therapy, or it might be journaling. It might be talking with a safe and trusted friend. You know what that answer is for you. That's not something that I can decide. But whatever that is, make friends with those parts of you. And the more that you make friends with them, the more you'll want to protect them, and the more the stronger your boundaries will be, and the stronger your resilience will be, and your confidence, because it becomes not, I don't want to say about you, but it does. Like your world becomes about you and how you can be your best self for the people around you and how you can protect yourself from people around you. So it means accepting who you are. It means living for you, not focusing on other people's judgment, and pursuing your purpose. And own up to it. It's like 1.5 on this whole scale. It's not quite the second mistake yet. It's kind of in the middle. But living in integrity with yourself and doing it because you know who you are and you're living it. So let me try and say that in a better way. But basically, when you don't identify the areas of your life that you've repressed, or just parts of yourself that need healing, when you make friends with your shadow and you accept who you are and you own it, you are living in integrity with yourself, and you're doing this because you know what your values are. You've set up your parameters. You've forgiven yourself for times that you've lived outside of a boundary that you weren't aware of. And you're doing all this because you know it's for your highest good and the highest good of everyone around you. Hopefully that makes sense, but it all boils down to really truly knowing who you are, knowing what you value, and living that way. Being authentically you can be really hard if you don't know who you are. If you're facing your life or living your life to please others or to avoid judgment from others or trying to make everyone happy, that's not going to do anything. It's not going to make everyone happy because you simply can't do that. And it's certainly not going to make you happy because you'll be lost and not know who you are. One of the problems when you don't live your life authentically is that you aren't ever going to learn the lessons that you came here to learn. When you're living your life for others, whether it's because of societal conditioning, limiting beliefs, past traumas, fear, whatever it is, you're living a life that wasn't designed for you, and that's why you're miserable. And I hate to say that so bluntly, but hear me when I say this. No one knows how to be you better than you. Let me say it one more time. No one knows you and how to be you better than you. And this can be a super easy mistake to make when you're in a relationship or a friendship or whatever. I've heard this said by people and it drives me crazy when it's they know me better than I know myself. That is downright harmful. It takes away your autonomy. It sets up a situation where you feel like you don't know yourself or that you can't live life without the other person because they know you more than you know you. It's just toxic. Whether people realize it or not, that's not healthy. Happy people, though, they're in their purpose. They know what their purpose is. And if you're unclear on your purpose, episode 15, I believe, is all about discovering your purpose. So go back and check that out. But people who know their purpose are happy people. And that's because they have something that motivates them, something that's driving them to do things, something that's bigger than themselves. They have a community. And they also know how to measure their success. Think about this for a second. How are you measuring success? Success really should be that you did what you said you were going to do. It shouldn't be dependent on some sort of outside variable. So if you said that you were going to start a podcast, it doesn't matter how many listeners you have, as long as you have a podcast. You did what you set out to do. And the thing about it is let's say you do set a goal, a financial goal, or let's just use the podcast example, so many downloads or whatever on your podcast. Well, are you measuring it based on a goal and what you need to reach a goal that you set for yourself based on your values and who you truly are? Or are you measuring success on something else? Are you saying, I want as many listens as this podcast or as many downloads as this person? Success has to be for you and should not be any sort of comparison with anybody else. Another secret about success is that it leaves clues. So when you are successful and when you're on the path to success, you'll notice that little things just encourage you along the way, and that's success leaving clues. So happy people, I want to kind of divert a little bit. I want to talk about the definition of happiness, because we've talked about all these things that happy people do and the secrets to happiness. But what is happiness? So I looked it up in the dictionary, or like the Google dictionary, and it defined happiness as a state of being happy, which drives me absolutely crazy. But the definition of the word happy is showing pleasure or contentment, satisfied with the quality or standard of something. So think about that for a second. Happy is showing pleasure or contentment. So being in pleasure or being content or being satisfied with the quality or standard of something. So being successful doesn't give you happiness, but happiness comes in the pursuit of personal success. So once you feel content with your personal success, that's when you will be happy. And that's not even me, that's just the definition. So that's something, though, you have to define for yourself. What does personal success mean? It's not something we can look up on the Google dictionary, but it is something that you already have inside of you and you already know what it is. It's all about just accessing that. I want to give you an example of how, when you measure success incorrectly, it really is harmful both to your mental health, your goals, your everything. So, back in the early 2000s, anyone that is a millennial will relate to this maybe. So, back in the early 2000s, there was a show, and I really, really liked it. And I'm not going to say the name because I don't exactly know copyright and stuff like that. So, just to be safe, I won't say the name of the show, but I'll give you some hints. It was two very, very, very famous people who were both very, very blonde, very, very thin, and very, very wealthy. And they would go to different, like, farmers' houses. I'm sure you can picture the celebrities and the show that I'm talking about if you were alive during that time. But anyway, that person, their bodies, I envied. If you grew up during the same time I did and you're also a millennial, you know that it was hip bones sticking out, jeans that were like way, way low ride jeans. I don't even know if that's what you call them. Low rise, not low ride. I'm sorry. So like the low rise jeans and just like the stick thin body. And I idealize that. That is what I wanted. I wanted to be so, so skinny. And if I continued to do that into my adulthood and that's what success was for me, I would never be successful. Excuse me. And I would never be successful, not because I was lazy or unmotivated or whatever we tell ourselves. It's because I would be in the pursuit of something that is physically impossible for my body. My bone structure alone would not allow it. So, happy people know this. They know how to measure their success. And last but not least, happy people surround themselves with happiness. I've talked about tech addiction in a past episode. I can't remember off the top of my head, but go back and check out the episode on tech addiction because we are so overloaded with just sensory input as well as just noise, people's noise that shouldn't matter in our own lives. The gossip, the drama, the workplace chit chat. And I'm an introvert, so I tend to get a little more overwhelmed when I have to take in a lot of noise. But that's why I intentionally schedule time to look at social media and take in noise. Other than that, I stay away from it because you're easily sucked in and it easily takes over how your thoughts work. If you didn't already know this, you're the average of the people that you surround yourself with. I think it's the 5 people that are closest to you. You're kind of like the average of them and their thoughts and their ideals and their beliefs and the way that they act and the way that they think and all of that. And that includes content that you consume. So think of the 5 people that you follow on social media that you could just immediately, the first 5 people that come to mind. You're the average of those 5 people. So be careful what you're consuming because happy people know that in order to to be happy and stay happy and emit happiness, they have to surround themselves with happiness. You can't let the negativity overwhelm you. So, to sum it up, the 5 secrets that happy people know. Number 1, they're in their purpose. Number 2, they surround themselves with happiness. Number 3, they know how to measure success. Number 4, they know who they are and they are living it. And number 5, they've made friends with their shadow. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope that you were able to maybe see some ways that you could change your mindset and be happier. If any of this stood out to you, or you had any aha moments, or anything that just really sparked a thought or sparked an action, or whatever, sparked creativity, whatever, I would love to hear from you. I really would love to hear your feedback, any questions that you have, any of that. I'm happy to answer some questions. I thought about maybe doing a Q&A episode at some point. So if you have questions for that, make sure that you let me know. You can head over to the website and submit on there. There's a way to contact me on there, or just follow me on social media and screenshot this episode and share it and tag me so I can hear all your thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate and review if you haven't already. It would mean the absolute world to me, and I'll love you forever. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for pressing play today. If today's chat inspired the audacity in you, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And be sure to leave a rating and review on iTunes to spread the love and help more people find the show. If you aren't already, be sure to follow me on social media so we can connect. Just choose your preferred platform. My links are all down below. Have a beautiful day, friends.